What's going on, guys? It's Jordan with the Brantford Exchange, and today I just want to briefly go over how I personally plan out a trade. So this is going to differ from person to person, but like I said, I just want to show you my thought process and how I choose something to trade and how I plan it out. So the first thing I do is I look at my watch list. If you don't have one, we're going to make a video explaining how to grow your watch list, but for beginners, I just recommend going on there's multiple websites that give stock suggestions, give you market updates. There's apps that you can get in, and then there's also Discord chats, group chats. Like we have a Discord chat, for example. So the link to that will be in the description below, where you can talk to other traders and get ideas of what to trade. But everything you see, you want to do your own analysis and see if you see value in it. So when I go through my watch list, I want to see how it's performing on the day. I want to make sure it's green on the day, and then I look at the volume to see if the volume's healthy. If those two things meet my criteria, then I'll click it, and then this will pop up, the chart for the either ETF or stock. So this is GDX. The first thing I do, I want to make sure, I ask myself, am I day trading or do I want to swing trade it? So if it's trending below this SMA, the 180-day SMA, you're most likely not going to want to swing trade it because overall it's trending down. So if you're going to hold it for a longer period of time, there's more risk involved because overall it's trending down. So the longer you hold it, if it continues that downtrend, you're just going to lose more and more on your position. If you want to day trade it and scalp it because it has these little push-ups, that's what I would recommend doing, is day trading it if it's below this SMA. If it breaks below, you could day trade or breaks above, sorry, you could day trade or swing trade it because the overall stock is trending up because it broke above that 180-day SMA. So that's the major thing I look for. After going to my watch list and I see something that is attractive to me, I make sure that it's trending up. So the SMA, like we said before, it'll act as a support or it'll act as a resistance. You see right here how I was pushing down the price, right? And then once it broke above it, it started trending up. So this will act as a new support level because it broke above. Now, if it, like I said, that met my criteria, then I just do a simple breakdown of support and resistance. So I drew these support and resistance lines very quickly, and then I just want to see the margins that it offers. Everything's opportunity cost. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to have to either give or take something. So if I could put my money somewhere else in another stock that gives me more margins for profit in a quicker time, then I want to do that. But I draw these support and resistance lines, and then I just see how much percentage that it'll offer. Let me actually scroll up. So I see how much percent that it offers in the amount of time. So between these support and resistance lines, it offers about 4%, and that's in a 7-day, like a week period. So that's not that great, but the way I get that is I use my drawing tool, and then I'll come up, and then I'll use a recent low and a recent high and just see how many days it was. So this was 8 days, and it offered 8%. So that's okay. You could definitely do better than that. So I would keep that in mind. I could keep GDX in mind, but then I could just think to myself, if I see something that offers more than 8% in less than 8 days, then I might want to do that instead because I'll make better returns on my money quicker. The other thing I look for is you want it to be trending above this EMA, which is this blue line. The blue line, the EMA, is going to act as a support and resistance as well. You see how it bounces off of this, right? So after I look at that, we looked at the SMA, we looked at the volume, we looked at the price, how it was performing on the day. Then you want to go down here and look at your other indicators. You don't want to just use one indicator when you're breaking down a stock. So this is the MACD indicator. It's going to tell me if it's overbought or oversold. So it's going to show me the general momentum of which the stock is going. Right here, it's still signaling a buy signal, but something that you're going to have to ask yourself is, can you get in at a better price, right? You don't want to get in on something and chase it and then it ends up pulling back. So even though this is signaling a buy signal, in my eyes, I think I can get it in at a better price. This isn't going to go up forever. It's going to have a pullback here soon. So being that this is a recent support, it bounced off this EMA, which is also a support. I think I'm going to wait and then wait for it to either bounce off that EMA or bounce off this recent support at 2038. So somewhere around there, because I want to get in at the best price possible and then make the most returns possible. That's the name of the game. That's what you want to do. So after looking at that, even though the MACD is not telling me to, it's not signaling a sell signal, the RSI is, though. That's why you want to utilize more than one indicator. the RSI is peaking out. You see it turning red? That's marking a sell signal. So I keep that in mind. The next thing I do, I want to know the overall, how either the market, I want to know how the stock that I'm looking at is doing and how it correlates with the market as well. So on TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim, it gives you a great news resources right down here. All you have to do is click this little tab, live news right there, and then it'll come up with all these articles. So I'll just skim through them real quick and just see if there's any significant news about the market that could possibly affect my stock, or if there's any good news that could affect the stock and then send the price up. So that might be why, the RSI is peaking out so much. There could have been news about it, and even though that it's saying it's overbought, it would make sense because there's news and then the stock gets pushed up on that, not just from a technical standpoint or not just from the stock trending up with no news, just people buying it up. So that's pretty much how I break it down. And then lastly, when you're planning it out, you want to know when to get in, when to get out. So doing that, you go back to your support and resistance lines. You want to get in as close to the support as possible and get out either at that resistance. If it starts getting rejected at a resistance, you want to get out. And then you just have that trailing stop loss. So the trailing stop loss is just going to follow, if I'm holding it, say, here at 2030, right? And then it continues and it breaks this resistance, I could put my stop loss at this resistance because old resistances become new supports, right? So I could put my new stop loss, I could remove it from here and then put my new one at that resistance because it'll act as a new support. So if it breaks below that, it'll sell it automatically for me. And I don't have to sit here and just look at my computer all day because I know a lot of you guys are probably busy with school or work. So that's just a way of, like time management. You don't have to sit here and just hawk it all day. So that's pretty much my mindset. Like I said, how I go over how I plan out a trade. It's going to differ from everybody. But if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Feel free to join our Discord chat. That link will be in the description below. And then follow our social medias. That will also be in the description below. So like I said, quick video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks.